Okay, today we're working on a 2002 Chevy Venture minivan with a 3400 V6 engine. And we are going to be replacing the thermostat. We're going to start with moving this the reservoir out of the way. Normally there's a fastener right here. This one doesn't have it, so we can also just slip out the hose here, the overflow hose going to the radiator. And once you remove this fastener, you can just snap out the reservoir. It has two clips, this one here and this other one. You gotta be careful not to dump everything. And this one right here, they just straddle the brace here. So we're gonna remove also the throttle body ducting here and the air filter cover. Be gentle with them. Pull that out. Pull this one out too. Move that out of the way. I'm going to use a screwdriver just underneath the lip here to just pop that off. And we're going to remove the, or at least loosen the clamp right here at the throttle body. I'm going to just slip it off the throttle body and just lift it out. This is tricky. There's not a lot of room here. You gotta be careful. Some of these will have a honeycomb right at the throttle body. This one, I think, doesn't have it. Many times it's easier just to remove it from here as well. Like that. And now it should be much easier to remove the air filter cover. This is a good time to replace the air filter too if it needs it. This one is fairly new. Looks like it's still in good shape. So this the air filter cover comes out with the mass airflow sensor and all. You just need to disconnect that connector first. Set that aside. And we just need to be careful. This has some very, very thin wires, some elements inside here that we don't want to make sure nothing happens to that. And make sure sure that it doesn't get dirty. So it's a good idea to cover it or put the hose back on. Put it somewhere safe. I usually put it in a plastic bag or something to just to make sure it doesn't get dirty. Okay, now we have a little more room. And if we haven't done so yet, we want to drain as much water as we can, or I should say as much coolant as we can from the cooling system to allow us to remove the thermostat cover without having the coolant go everywhere. And usually the best way to do that is we open up the petcock, the valve at the bottom of the radiator. In this vehicle, it's located right here below the overflow reservoir, straight down at the bottom of the radiator. You can drain it off with a suitable container. Just get that. Slip it back. And we'll pull that out. This one doesn't seem to be real tight, but it's for a new one. This one makes it real easy. This tool here, it's a hose puller. Carefully, if you're going to reuse the hose, you carefully get it underneath, and you're going to apply quite a bit of force to get it to come loose. So it makes it real handy. This one, I believe, is from Harbor Freight Tools. Little plug there for Harbor Freight. Makes it difficult. Normally, being an easy job. This crossover pipe here, this exhaust crossover pipe, it's in the way of the bolts that hold the thermostat cover right here, which is this right here. And the top one is not too bad. The bottom one, it's the one that's the worst. Not impossible. It's still doable, but it just makes it a lot harder. Some people resort to removing the crossover pipe. I'm going to try to do it without that. Related to Houdini, you may be able to get your hand under here. It's not the right, maybe the left, and reach that bolt down there. That bottom bolt does not have to come off completely. It has the cover actually has like a it's open on at the end where the bolt fits. It's kind of has a slit where you can actually, when you remove the top bolt, the bottom one can just slide off by just loosening the bolt enough. You can just slide the thermostat cover off. So still, that one it's a little bit of a hassle to get to that. So in the Izzy's garage motto of removing as little as possible and trying to get the job done as quickly as possible, we're going to try to to not remove nothing, that try to get around doing this with removing just as little as possible. So we're going to try not to. So we're going to try not to remove the crossover pipe. And sometimes this one, it's easier if you remove this cooling line here also to get to it. I'm going to try to do it without doing that as well. So let's see what happens. Okay, so there is the thermostat cover, and I'm going to try to get you a shot of the two bolts. That's one of them right there. That's the top bolt. That bolt right there. And the back bolt, bottom bolt. This is a really tough shot. Let's see if I can get you that. See that? It's that one right there. Right, that one right there behind that. Right there, and that area there, just to the right, and sort of to the right bottom corner. I don't know if you can tell that. You see it kind of just that point right there falling off. That has a place there. It's actually open on that side, kind of like an U, so that you just have to loosen that bolt, and then the thermostat cover will slide off. Okay, so we'll attempt to remove those two bolts. And I'll try to get you a shot of this bolt from the bottom. Not really sure if I can, because I can't see the camera, but I'll try. Okay, and I was able to get to the top bolt with a 1/2-inch socket and a medium-sized extension and a small ratchet, and I'll show you what I did with the back bolt. The back bolt was a little more difficult, but I was able to break it loose. And what I did, I sprayed some WD-40 and left it there for a while, left it soaking for a while, and went to have dinner, and then came back to see if I could get it loose, and it broke loose. The socket here, what I did is I get the socket behind this tube here, and then connect it to the extension behind it. Because otherwise, it doesn't want to go through here between this tube and the crossover pipe. And I'm using a 3/8 drive socket. So 13mm will work. 1/2-inch fits even tighter, a little better. And for the back bolt, a 13 millimeter combination wrench, and the back one was a little more difficult, and this was a key. This wrench here was key in breaking that bolt loose, because there's just no room at all, and you have to get creative on the angles and how to get to it. There's actually 3 ways to get to it, surprisingly, but this set was key. And this set I got a few years ago when I was doing a job that I needed to get some leverage, sort of like right now, and also with a very tight spot. And I was looking for some combination wrenches that won't be so short. Most of the sets are quite short, and this was the longest set that I could find. And this one is from Duralast at AutoZone, and this was key because these bolts are tight, and it's just very hard to get some leverage in there with some of the shorter open end and combination wrenches like this one, for example. It's a very old set I have from Sears, and this is a 13 millimeter, but you can see you just get no leverage with this one. So this one was also good to turn it afterwards once it was broken loose, because there's so little room. And what I did, I used the angle here, turn it just a little, because you can only turn it like maybe 1/8 of a turn the most, and then turn it around, and then turn it again just to loosen it. And the back one, as I said before earlier in the video, you don't have to remove it completely, so you can loosen it just enough so you can remove the thermostat cover. And I'll show you what I did for the back one. Let me see if I can remove this bolt here so I don't lose it. Let me get a magnet. Okay, so a magnet will come in handy to get that bolt, so you won't lose it. And for the back one, I was able to actually break it loose from back here. I don't know if you can see that. I placed the wrench like this. I'm trying to get you a shot of that. And there's the back bolt right there. And I actually found 3 ways, surprisingly, 3 ways to get to that bolt. One of them is from below. And see if I can show you that. From below and from the back, like so. And pretty much all 3 ways, there's not a lot of room for the tool to pivot, but enough to be able to do it. And the way I actually was able to break it loose, it's from the top side from the back, this way, coming from the top and the back, like this. And I was able to get enough be able to put enough torque on it to break it loose. And the third way is from the front below the crossover pipe again from here like this, coming from the front and below the crossover pipe. So after using this size wrench, the Duralast 13 millimeter, I was able then, once I broke it loose with this one, then I used my smaller open end wrench 13 millimeter to continue to loosen it from below the crossover. Like this, and then once I reach the there's not a lot of room too, so you only go like 1/8 of an inch or 1/8 of a turn, if that much or less, and then turn it around like this to get it to turn. So I was almost ready to remove this pipe here, but I didn't have to. I was able to break it loose without doing that. Now it should be ready to come off. You just pull it loose, and then oops, look at that. I wonder this car came in with a code. I forget what code it was. That it was taking too long to reach operating temperature. It actually threw a code. Some of these cars will actually, the computer keeps track of temperature and actually uses the temperature of the engine to control fuel injection and all that good stuff. So look at this. This one actually, it looks like someone cut off the top part of the solenoid of the of the top part of the thermostat, and just used the thermostat with just to put the to hold the seal, the rubber seal, because this rubber seal rides over the edge of the thermostat. So I guess they wanted to take the thermostat out and cut off the top of it to just to be able to seal it. And no wonder this thing was taking long to warm up. So that's what the reason it came in here with that problem. So I when I tested, I figured, well, the thermostat, it's stuck open, but there is actually no thermostat. So that's the problem. So we'll pop that out. We'll pop this and put in the new thermostat. Because this is what the new thermostat looks like. And as you can see, this sits like this. It goes in this way, and then the cover goes this way. So somebody just cut the legs of the thermostat here, because for some reason they wanted to eliminate the thermostat. So what I'm going to do here, pop this open here. Go. Pop it out. that seal out of there, and we'll scrape that with a putty knife or gasket scraper. We need to get this nice and clean right here. So we'll get this scrape all that off. And get it ready to put it back together. And we want to make sure that when we scrape off the remnants of the whole gasket, that we keep the putty knife flat against the thermostat cover, and just make sure that we don't make any scars on it. And this is aluminum, so it's pretty soft, so we want to make sure we just keep it flat. And like this one, you see this black stuff here. It's really, run your nail through it, it's actually just discolored, but there's no ridges or anything, so it's nice and flat. So we want to make sure the other side also, the where the thermostat sits, it's also clean, and then we'll get our thermostat, and the thermostat goes in this way into the engine. So it goes in this way like this. So the so it goes in like this, and then the cover sits this way. So the long part goes into the engine. So we'll double check and clean and dry the area where the thermostat sits. The cavity. And what I do usually, I like to do with seals and O-rings, I like to apply some either assembly gel or like for example the transmission type assembly gel, or another good one would be petroleum jelly. Usually known as Vaseline. So we apply a coat of that. On the seal of the thermostat. To install our thermostat, and that Vaseline also helps to kind of keep it in place. And make sure it sits in its cavity, and that the O-ring is straddling the lip of the thermostat, or I should say that seal. And then we'll slide our thermostat cover into place. Okay, a little different strategy replacing the thermostat cover. Once the thermostat is in place, the back bolt, which I left on, will not permit the thermostat cover to go around the thermostat. And the reason being is there's not enough room here with the crossover pipe to actually go around the thermostat that's just protruding just slightly over outside of its bore, and to clear that that back bolt and be able to put it in place. So what I did, I had to reluctantly remove the back bolt entirely, and then I was able to put the thermostat cover into place, and then attached it with the front bolt just enough to be just hand tight, just enough that it was you could still wiggle it around just a bit, and then with great difficulty had to use my left hand in this way, like this, because the right hand somehow did not reach in there to get the bolt, to put the bolt in. So with the bolt just on the fingertips, was able to put it in place, and then I held it. Then once the bolt was in place, I was able to hold it like this, because I wasn't quite able to turn it, so I was able to hold it with this long screwdriver, and at the same time from the back under the crossover pipe started to turn it, and this with the screwdriver just pushing it enough to make sure that I didn't lose it, that it didn't drop. So holding it with the screwdriver while turning it, and then to turn it, you can only go about this much, and then it just gives you enough room, just enough room to and catch it again this way, and then you'll be able to turn and just flip the wrench around, and very slowly you'll be able to get that bolt in there, and start it in its threads, and then you'll be able to do that very slowly. You'll probably say that you'd rather watch paint dry than doing this, but doing that, I was able to get it patient, with a lot of patience, get it threaded in there, and I was able to tighten it, and then finish off tightening the bolt with the longer 13mm Duralast combination wrench. I was able to tighten it from the front, lower front, below the thermostat cover, I should say below the crossover pipe, and below in the front, and below the crossover pipe in the back, and even also in the back over the crossover pipe. There's about 3 different angles you can do. You can do below crossover pipe in the front, below crossover pipe in the back, and also there's an angle over the crossover pipe on the top. And between those 3 combinations, I was able to tighten it enough to get it on there. And then the front one is not a problem. You can get just like for the removal. I take off the socket, put the extension below this pipe here between the this pipe and the crossover pipe, and then attach the socket, and then I was able to reach the front bolt. And the front bolt is not a problem. But yeah, lots of patience and lots of praying too. Said my prayers, and it was able to get it tight. While I was here, there was some carbon here on the throttle body, so I got some carburetor cleaner and some brake cleaner as well, and cleaned off all that carbon. Next, we'll just simply put the hose back on, and this is a good time if you need if the hose is in bad shape. It's a good time to replace it. And we'll, in this case, we'll use the original clamp. Put that clamp in place, and then it's just a matter of replacing our filter. And this is a good time also if your filter is in need of replacing. We'll clean the inside of the air box. Put the filter in. Good idea, we put a new one in anyway. And then the tabs here need to align. There's places where they actually, where you align them underneath. So you need to get those tabs to lock in their place. There's slots at the bottom of the air box. You get those tabs in, and you just pull at the bottom and you check, make sure that they're in. Just lock it into place. And then we'll get our duct. We can compress it. This one is always fun to put in. Because there's so little room here. attach our tube on top. Squeeze it in our connector. This one is actually, there's two of them. There's a small one here, top one, and the one on the side here for the math. Then we'll tighten up these clamps. And then we'll get our overflow reservoir, snap it into place, and we'll install our radiator overflow hose. And this is important because it keeps the radiator from going low. Every time the engine cools, it actually sucks water in. When it warms up, gets hot, it may put some water into here, and then it once it cools and everything shrinks again, it starts sucking some water back into, or I should say coolant, back into the radiator. Of course, that only happens if you have a good hose with real tight connection both here and at the right next to the radiator cap. So it's a good idea to make sure this hose, it's in good shape, it's not cracked, and you have good tight connections, and that'll keep the radiator and the cooling system full without any air or any air pockets or anything like that inside the cooling system. And then once we do that, we want to make sure to top off the cooling system. We want to make sure our radiator petcock down there, it's closed, and then we'll top it off and get the engine running. And with the radiator cap off, once it warms up and that thermostat we just replaced opens up, then we want to keep topping it off. And my favorite, there's several ways of doing it. My favorite way of accomplishing it is with something like this. I put together with a funnel, and this is a part of a kit for flushing the cooling system, and that fits. This fits tightly into the radiator, and keeps it up like this, so that it brings the level of coolant up higher than the radiator. So as the engine warms up and takes in some more fluid, you're able to remove the air, the trapped air that's in there, and you can raise the RPMs slightly, and then you're able to put some more fluid in there. And then also this engine has a couple of places to burp any trapped bubbles that may be in there, trapped air. This is one of them, and there's another here. By this other small holes, there's another one there. That those two places, once the engine, the cooling system is pressurized, you can actually use a socket and slowly open up this little valve here. There's two little valves, there's brass valves, and you're able to bleed the air out of the system. It's on top of the thermostat cover here, and right here on the other side, right here next to this hose. So that's the actual way of bleeding the air out of the system. And check for leaks, and then you should be good to go. And I think that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful, and please don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and share, and like and share, and as always, try to stay clean. Just try.